It's a beautiful day for baseball. And live from Surprise Stadium in Surprise, Arizona, Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Texas Rangers. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Sonner, joined again by Ned Coletti. Yesterday, the big day by the kids. The grand slam home run by Darnell Sweeney, the 3-run home run by Scott Scheffler. They will be here today. Of course, so will Corey Seager. But the pitching has been as much the story as the kids so far this spring. This is the 15th game. Team ERA is just a shade over 3. Opposing hitters are hitting barely 200 against Dodger pitching. And Hyun-Jin Ryu makes his second start.
It's a great sign that our pitching has been so good this spring. With Drew going today, it's much like Greinke yesterday and Kershaw before. Second time out. Of all our starters, Drew is probably the one that needs the least amount of work in the spring. Threw 16 innings last spring entirely before he pitched in Australia. Doesn't throw between starts in the regular season. Repeatable delivery, so more of a tune-up than anything else for
Ryu. Figure it's going to be about 3 innings and 40 or so pitches. Yovani Gallardo goes for the Texas Rangers. We're going to take a break. When we come back, lineups and first pitch from Surprise. "84 degrees on this Tuesday afternoon. We're at Surprise Stadium, Surprise, Arizona. Oh, it's about a 15-20 minute drive away from Glendale as the Texas Rangers take the field. And Don Mattingly has put this lineup together on St. Patrick's Day. Jimmy Rollins, Carl Crawford, and Yasiel Puig. Followed by Grandal in the cleanup spot. Howie Kendrick at second base. Justin Turner at third base. Of course, Turner started yesterday at first base and led off. Van Slyke at first base today. Adrian Gonzalez with the afternoon off. Jock Peterson once again in center field. He's hitting .409. A.J. Ellis is the designated hitter. A.J. is 3 for 15. And veteran right-hander Yovani Gallardo, who's come over from Milwaukee. Had a Solid year last year. 12 wins, 10 losses, an ERF just a shade over 4. Opposing hitters hitting .261 against him.
Gallardo they acquired late in the winter, and with the injuries that they've had now to Darvish, it's obviously a great acquisition for him. He knows how to pitch. We've seen him a lot. We seem to see him every series we played him, whether it was in LA or in Milwaukee. And so he's got some familiarity with us and us with him. But again, it's spring training, so it's really a time to get stretched out a little bit, get some arm strength, and work on the pitches that you're going to need, the field pitches, the changeups, the sliders, curveballs.
Of course, the Texas Rangers were devastated by injuries last year. And the ace of their staff, Darvish, Tommy John surgery, he is done for the year. The numbers are astonishing what the Texas Rangers went through on the DL last year. A record 2,281 days of disabledness, which is 6.25 years. 64 players, 40 pitchers on the DL, and sadly it appears as if the Rangers are picking up where they left off this year. Jimmy Rollins is leading it off for the Dodgers. Rollins at 8 for 22 this spring, squares to bunt and takes a strike. It's 0-1. Rollins at 364. Crawford on deck and Yasiel Puig to follow. 84 degrees. Some clouds off in the distance. Gallardo deals, and there's a line drive into center field for a base hit. So Jimmy Rollins is having a very solid spring.
It's tough to put guys on the 60 early in the camp, and when you start off like Texas is with Darvish and Profar both on the 60-day DL, that's a tough way to begin. And they've got Perez, who had Tommy John surgery last May. Harrison's got a left shoulder issue he's been dealing with. Andrus is playing today. He's had a left knee problem off and on, and Derek Holland threw a B game, threw about 12 pitches a few days ago. So they're almost picking up where they left off, and that's a tough way to go into a season, especially when you got two players like Darvish and Profar on the 60.
Carl Crawford at 263, 5 for 19 this spring. A couple of RBIs and a double. Well, we'll get to the Rangers soon enough. Puig is on deck. Dodgers enter play today 8-2-4 in spring. Of course, spring records are utterly meaningless. The Dodgers haven't had a winning record in spring for the last 5 or 6 years.
That doesn't mean a lot, but the presentation, I think, as you were talking about Charlie yesterday, has been really good, I think. And I think that's a key as you prepare and as you put together what your thought process is going to be. How you play is as important as the results.
And they're playing well, and of course the story has been, as much as anything, the play of the young kids. So here's Yovani Gallardo, who figured to be the number 2 guy in the rotation for the Rangers this year. Well, suddenly it appears as if he's the ace. Tossed to first base, and Rollins is back. First baseman is Kyle Blanks, and the Dodgers certainly know him from his years with the Padres. Prince Fielder not playing today. There goes Rollins. There's a throw, and he is out from here to Yuma.
Looks like he got a stagger jump a little bit on it. And the catcher's a pretty good thrower. He threw a 40% last year. You see the start here. Decent start. Looks like he's losing traction there halfway through. Had a decent break, but halfway through it started to slow him down a little bit.
Robinson Chirinos is the catcher for the Rangers, displaying a good arm. And Crawford with a fly ball to center field. Drifting on back is Leonis Martin. And now there's 2 out.
Texas has been one of the better organizations in signing players from Mexico and from the DR and from Venezuela. Under 40-man this year, for example, Charlie, they've got 15 players that are from countries south of the border, so to speak. And they've done a great job with it. Years ago, when we were in a mode to trade some of our veterans, as we looked at their organization, it was really pronounced how well they've done in Latin America and Mexico, Puerto Rico.
And here's Yasiel Puig taking a fastball for a strike.
And the person who really keyed that up was A.J. Preller, who moved to San Diego as their GM last season. And a lot of his resume has got great work done in Latin America.
Puig on 0-1. To right field. Circling underneath it, Jake Smolinski. And that will end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. We'll go to the bottom half of the first. Hyun-Jin Ryu making his second start of the spring when we come back. Well, the Texas Rangers, who had a disastrous season last year, 67 and 95, finishing 31 games behind the Angels, and so there was a change at the top. Jeff Bannister, in his first year as a manager, well, he's got nowhere to go but up, and here's the lineup he has put together for this Tuesday afternoon, St. Patrick's Day. Leonis Martin, Elvis Andrews, and Adrian Belt, of course, came up with the Dodgers. Kyle Blanks, former Padre, playing at first. Ryan Ludwig, former Padre, the DH. Ludwig, of course, bounced around, Reds, Cardinals. Ryan Rua in left field. Robinson Chirinos, the catcher. Jake Smolinski in right. Ed Lucas at second base. And here is Hyun-Jin Ryu. His first pitch and his second start, and he delivers a strike, and it's 0-1.
That season last year for Texas was almost nightmarish. It was their worst year since 1985. They'd had 4 straight 90-win seasons. And that shows you what injuries can do.
Well, you're mentioning right up top with Darvish now, you have the new manager. How, as a general manager, how does a manager keep the spirits up? These players know as well as everybody else the difficulty they've got.
It's tough to do it, but it's part of the job, and you have to build your depth, and you have to have enough young players that can step in and at least hold the fort for a little while. But when you're talking about Prince Fielder missing most of last year, he had a surgery similar to what Peyton Manning had, obviously the great quarterback. Missing him, Chu they signed a year ago, and he missed a lot of time with an elbow and with an ankle issue. They went through so many different players, key players. You just can't stem the tide for that amount of time with losing that many key people.
A record 2,281 days. A line drive base hit into center field, Elvis Andrews. 2,281 days of DL. 6.25 years.
There's 183 days in the baseball season, and you got 25 men on your active roster. That's the equivalent of 12.5 players missing full seasons. That's
half the team.
That's like they said earlier in the day. We were talking to Tom Grieve and others, and it was a historic proportion that they would go through so much pitching, so many position players, and have so many days on the DL.
Well, here's Adrian Beltre, and what a great career he has had. last year. He was able to hold the fort on his level. And a strike, nothing in one.
2,604 hits. 2,604. Great chance at 3,000. There's 28 players that have hit 3,000. All but 3 are not in the hall. They are Pete Rose, who's in the news the last couple of days, Rafael Palmeiro, and of course Derek Jeter, who is at this stage shy of about 4 years and a few days of being able to be voted in. But it's almost a sure ticket in.
Beltre, a career .285 hitter. Came up with the Dodgers in '98. Adrian now 35. Will turn 36 in about a month.
I was working for a different organization when he left the Dodgers, and I got to tell you, I was thrilled that he left the Dodgers. Then I got to the Dodgers, and I was heartbroken he left the Dodgers.
A chopper to short. Rollins steps on the bag and fires to first. Jimmy takes care of it himself. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. No scores. We go to the second from surprise. On this St. Patrick's Day, Yasmani Grandal, Howie Kendrick, and Justin Turner will bat for the Dodgers. A yogiism for St. Patrick's Day.
Charlie?
He said, found out that the mayor of Dublin years ago was Jewish. Yogi said, only in America. Yasmani Grandal leading it off. Grandal 6 for 24, a home run and 3 runs batted in. Howie Kendrick on deck and Justin Turner to follow. Got a ball upstairs and outside. 2-0. Grandal had some knee issues last year. Offensively, he struggled. And he takes high and away, 3-0.
I think our catching is going to be vastly improved from a year ago. I think there's more opportunities, more different choices. And I think it keeps both guys fresh, both him and AJ.
And a ground ball to second base, backhanded by Ed Lucas. One-time Marlin, 1 out in the second.
A couple years ago at the trading deadline, we came within a whisper of getting Howie Kendrick from Anaheim. And, it was going to be between the era of Mark Ellis and D. Gordon. And we thought that for the last couple months of that season, he could really give us a boost, and we just couldn't quite get it done.
As they say, it is a cliche, but it's true. He's a baseball player.
Yep.
Knows how to play, knows the nuances of the game. Last year, 293. And he's 6 out of 20 this spring.
When you're driving 75 runs with 7 home runs, it shows you how good a hitter you are.
And so he's the veteran presence at second base. Rollins at short. And the old cliche about being strong up the middle. The Dodgers certainly have fortified themselves in the offseason. Kendrick takes inside. Giovanni Gallardo, in his career, 89 and 64. And an ERA of 3.7. Last year in Milwaukee, 8 up, 11 down. As Kendrick takes up and in, the count is 3-1. On 3-1, Gallardo deals. Gallardo now 29. Born in Mexico, lives in Fort Worth. So he was certainly happy to come over here from the Brewers.
Well, that was convenient.
Into right field and drops in front of Smolinski. Diving attempt comes up short on the short hop.
Takes the outside pitch, takes it to right field, doesn't try to pull it, tries to make solid contact. We've seen a lot of that the last few days. You know, good hitting, good approaches, smart approaches, and obviously effective.
And here's Justin Turner, picking up in spring where he left off last season. Career high 340. He takes a ball into the knees, 1 ball, no strikes.
And quietly one of our most valuable players. Versatility, ability to hit, ability to sit for a day or 2, 3 days and hit.
And hit in the clutch.
Yep. He had so many big hits last year. It seemed like every week or 10 days, even in spot playing time, figured out a way to contribute in a big way.
288 at bats last year. 7 home runs, 43 runs batted in. And an on-base percentage of 404.
After hitting about 180 in the month of April.
Came up with the Orioles in 2009, and he drills one into left center field. That's going to go to the wall. Kendrick rounding third. He will score. A double for Turner, and the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead.
Complete opposite. Decided the inside pitch to pull it, hit it in the gap, rolls to the wall, and it gives Kendrick a chance to air it out and to score all the way from first.
Turner had 98 hits last year, 21 for doubles. And this is his 4th 2-base hit of the spring as Scott Van Slyke steps into the batter's box. Van Slyke 6 for 20. Starting at first base today. Swings and misses. It's 0-1. Jock Peterson on deck.
I'm curious to see how Jock does today against Gallardo.
Low.
Got a veteran pitcher, somebody who knows how to mix it up. Again, it's early in the camp, relatively speaking, but it'll be good to see Jock against him. Be a good little matchup. We'll learn a little bit today.
1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Van Slyke.
You know, it wasn't too long ago that Scotty Van Slyke was in the spot of Jock Peterson. Not necessarily being a center fielder and an everyday player, but somebody who was trying to get their feet wet at the big league level, having some opportunities in the spring. And he grew into him and JT out there, 2 of our most valuable guys that don't get a chance to play every day.
Van Slyke takes outside. Van Slyke, a 14th round pick. 10 years ago.
A few years ago, we had to designate him for assignment. The roster got crowded. Any team in baseball could have picked him up.
Well,
when you do that, you sit there for a few days hoping nobody's paying attention.
Yeah. As I recall, when you put him on the DL, that was a wake-up call for him. That offseason, he got himself into great shape. And he took a good hard look at himself in the mirrors and takes a walk.
Well, he began that season on the minor league side, too. So you're used to being in big league camp, and of course, his dad Andy was a real good player for a long time, Pittsburgh and St. Louis. And you get accustomed to that, and suddenly now you're on the other side of Camelback Ranch. And I think it was a wake-up call for him. I think it was obviously a humbling experience. And when he did come back, and he had a few opportunities that year, because we did want to see him, and we did want to be successful at it. And he came back, and he really kind of turned around and fit into this role really, really well.
Well, now we're going to have a look-see at Jock Peterson against Gallardo. Breaks his bat and grounds into a double play. 1 run and 2 base hits, 1 man. We'll go to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Dodgers. Jeff Bannister in his rookie season as a big league manager. This is a fella who's been swimming upstream not only his entire career, his entire life.
He's had a lot of different challenges and a lot of different things go on. Very interesting man, very interesting life. He was a high school sophomore, Charlie, and found bone cancer in his leg. Almost lost his leg. Went through 7 surgeries in 18 months. Years later, he's a player at Lee College. Ends up in a home plate collision. Ends up breaking 3 vertebrae in his neck. Paralyzed for 10 days. Went through 3 surgeries then for 10 days. And they didn't think he'd ever walk again. Ends up being drafted by the Pirates, and I think he was 621st player chosen in the '86 draft. 620 guys went before him. And spent 29 years in the Pirates organization at a bunch of different levels, managing through it. Interviewed for the Houston job earlier last fall. Didn't get that and was hired by Texas, largely on the recommendation of Clint Hurdle, who he was a bench coach for in Pittsburgh.
This is Kyle Blanks leading it off, the one-time Padre. Spent most of the year last year at AAA. And foul off into the bat. The count is 1-2.
You got to admire somebody that's been through what he's been through and stayed with it. And at 50 years old, finally gets a chance to manage a big league club. Had 1 at bat in the big leagues in his career.
And nobody has a higher lifetime batting average than him.
Nope, 1 for 1.
And here he is in Texas. Talk about a lifer who has earned his trip to the big league. So Blanks down on strikes. First strikeout of the game for Rio.
Typical Rue. Paints it on the outside, and hitter can't catch up to it. Ludwig, we're not going to see Ludwig in the field today, but he's one of the few players that bats right-handed and throws left-handed as a position player. There's been very, very few of them.
Ludwig takes high and away, 1 ball and no strike.
Of course, the best was Ricky Henderson. But Cleon Jones.
Right?
Way back, Carl Warwick. Go back 100 years, a real good player, borderline Hall of Famer, Hal Chase.
And Ryan Ludwig takes outside. 2 balls and no strikes.
And a former Dodger organization, a guy that ended up having a real good big league career and still playing, Cody Ross. Yeah. But not many.
Ludwig came up with the Rangers in 2002. Then on to Cleveland and St. Louis, San Diego, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati. Now 36. When it does hit him, he can lose him. His best year was in St. Louis in 2008. 37 home runs and 113 runs batted in, hit .299. Ryu falls behind 3-1.
Silver Slugger Award winner that year, and an All-Star.
Over the course of his career, .260 hitter. On 3-1. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Ryan Ludwig.
Back in 2012, he was in Cincy, and he split time in left field with Chris Heisey.
Heisey now, of course, with the Dodgers, a home run in the 8th inning yesterday. Ryan Rua is on deck for the Rangers. Call, strike 3. Oakland umpire Anthony Johnson punching out Ludwig.
Runs it in, ran it out to blanks and inside to Ludwig. See, when you watch Rue, you can see why he is successful, but you also see why he doesn't need a ton of extra work to be who he is. Easy delivery, repeatable,
fluid motion.
Yep.
So he first comes over and he says, I don't need no stinking bullpen. I don't need a whole lot of spring training. And he doesn't. So how do you process that?
Well, we have many meetings, Donnie and Rick Honeycutt and myself, about how we were going to get him to, quote, adapt. And we finally figured out, you know what? We signed him because of his success. This is what he does. If we try to make him adapt, we're going to end up with a different player than the one we signed. And so we just, you know yourself, you know what you need to do. We trust that you're going to do it. If you need anything, we're here.
What takes outside? Got Ryu and Rua.
He also came up the first time not knowing what to expect, and so we really didn't want to change a lot. It was obviously a new country for him, a new culture for him, new surroundings, different schedule. Instead of once a week making a start, it was every 5th day, so we let him be. I remember when he first came to camp, he wasn't in the same kind of condition he is today. I mean, he's never going to be a slender guy, but he's in far better condition than he was 2 years ago in camp.
There's a strike. 3-2. And of course, those who come over from the other side of the Pacific, their schedules are shorter. Yep. Baseball itself is just microscopically smaller. The right, Puig is there. It's a catch and step to foul territory. 1, 2, 3 inning for Nicholas Ryu. A.J. Ellis will lead off for the Dodgers as we go to the 3rd. They lead 1-0. on this lazy Tuesday afternoon in Surprise, Arizona. Reminder, you can still guarantee your seats for opening day at Dodger Stadium. Many plans still available that include opening day, all 10 bobbleheads, fireworks nights, 4th of July, Father's Day barbecue set, Tommy Lasorda Garden Gnome, and many other great promotions you won't want to miss this summer. Visit Dodgers.com/mini-plans. Ellis takes a strike.
What's a garden gnome?
I don't know. But it involves Tommy. Tommy had a couple of guests over in Glendale today. The Aspermani brothers. That was not a very good throw, boys. Elvis Andrews off his back foot. Well, if you're going to make an error, let it not be a cheapie.
Let's see what happens here, whether it was his grip. Looks like he just didn't have a comfortable grip on it and let it fly.
Easy call for the official score. Now Jimmy Rollins, who singled to center field in his first at-bat. Rollins is 9 for 23. Takes a strike, 0-1.
I think this is a perfect place for Jimmy Rollins to be at this stage of his career. He's a West Coast kid. He's got a chance to play on a big stage. He loves to win, loves to compete. Philly's going through a transition right now. I think he's up for a big year. I think he's found the new home.
That's exactly what he said to me. We ran into him in Los Angeles. We had a nice chat. And he said, look, the Phillies weren't going anywhere. He'd already become their all-time hit leader, so he'd accomplished a goal. And thought that the Dodgers obviously had a real solid chance in 2015. He realizes his time is limited. He knows there's this fellow Corey Seager there, and he has embraced his role as a senior citizen on this club, and then having Howie Kendrick as his partner at second base.
Change here.
First strikeout for Gallardo, and it's the first out of the third inning.
When you think of the pressures that a player has, and when you play in a city like Philly, where it's an everyday deal, almost every day of the year, the pressures are on you, and how he performed and the big hits he got. Obviously, one of the biggest hits of his career came against Jonathan Broxton against us, and in the 08 LCS, that fourth game, crushing.
Carl Crawford with a fly ball to left field. Ryan Ruba is there to make the catch.
Players like Jimmy, they've been in the heat, they've seen the spotlight, the rise, and they figure out ways to win. And I think adding somebody like him to this group, I think, is a key thing. Because we've had success, and we've had playoffs. Got to the LCS a few times, but you've got to be able to turn it down one more notch. And I think he's somebody that knows how to do that. I think he'll help some of our younger players, some of the younger players with big league experience, be able to transition from being a really good team to a team that's got to be historic.
Including this fella stepping into the batter's box, Yasiel Puig, who flied to right in his first at-bat. Rollins has embraced Puig, and Puig, just as importantly, has embraced Rollins. And so they spend a lot of time with one another.
It's good to see that relationship grow. We all know that the talent that Yasiel has, it's off the chart. To be one of the great players in baseball on a daily basis. It takes time, it takes patience, and the more guidance you can have from somebody like Jimmy, different voice, that chance to be a big plus for us.
The catcher, Robinson Chirinos, has already shown he's got a very good arm, easily throwing out Rollins back in the first inning, attempting to steal second.
For a catcher to throw out 40% of the runners, which is what he did last year, that's pretty remarkable.
1-2 to Yasiel Puig. As you look at a number, the percentage of throwing out would-be base stealer, what's good?
Well, if you get to 30%, you're doing pretty good. But the rest of the package too. How good a game caller, and in some cases, how good a framer he is for stealing a strike now and then. But if you, by and large, when you get late in the season or late in a game, and it's a tight game, if somebody thinks they can run on you, it's a different dynamic. Your pitchers are out of the stretch. They may rush. They may slide step. They may do something just a hair off just to try to make sure that they give the catcher every chance they get. They can.
Puig down on strikes. That ends the inning. No runs, no hits, an error, and a man left after 2.5. Dodgers won. The Rangers nothing. On this gorgeous Tuesday afternoon, 84 degrees, and so far so good for Hyun-Jin Ryu. In the first inning, gave up a base hit. Beltre would bounce into a double play. In the second inning, he retired the side in order, striking out 2, so he has faced the minimum. And so far, Ned, just 24 pitches through 2.
He's been very effective. It's been real easy for him. 6 hitters, 5 first pitch strikes, 17 strikes out of 24 pitches. Good command, working the ball on both sides of the plate. It's kind of typical of what he's capable of doing. It's been real easy though. 2 innings, been real seamless.
Robin Chirinos, 5 for 9 so far this spring, and that translates into a tidy 556. It takes a strike, and it's 0-1. And the other thing about Ryu, he's getting ahead of the count.
Yep, 6 out of 7. You're at such an advantage when you can throw a first pitch strike.
Chirinos out of Venezuela. Now lives in Houston. He's 30. It took him a long time to get to the big league level. Drafted by the Cubs in 2001. And a little bit of time with the Rays in 2011, and the last year and a half with the Rangers. Jake Smolinski on deck, and Ed Lucas to follow, and a ground ball in the hole. Jimmy Rollins jump throw, not going to get it. So Chirinos now is 6 for 10 after the infield hit.
Deep in the hole, Jimmy show off some range here. Basically impossible to throw somebody out from that angle.
So Chirinos is aboard with the infield hit, and this brings up Jake Smolinski. First time we've seen Smolinski.
This kid's out of Rockford, Illinois, outside of Chicago. played a little bit last year in the big leagues. I think he hit 340, 349, something like that. So he's got a chance, and they've got left field open. They've got a lot of competition for it right now, so he's got a chance to do it. I know that Bannister loves him. He's got a great attitude, fierce competitor, like a lot of those Midwestern guys, Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Probably knows where Peoria is. It's in Bradley University.
Well, who doesn't?
More people know today than they did a couple of years ago.
2-0 to Smolinski. Well, you know, you grew up in Chicago, and we understand that if you want to play ball, and come February and March, you have to brave the elements.
You learn to hit when it's 30 degrees out, and it's you learn to play through rain. You learn to play through snow some days. You know, it's like Shebler, our guy, Scott. You know, to play baseball in that type of climate, and then so many kids play football. So your baseball season, even in the summer, when you do have good weather, it gets cut short because football starts up in late July, early August. So anybody that's come out of that area, including in the northeast part of the country, same thing. It's people really dedicated to being as good as they can be and fighting through some weather adversities.
3 balls and a strike to Smolinski, with Ed Lucas on deck. There's nothing like the joy of fouling one off the end of the bat when it's about 35 degrees. And your thumbs are buzzing for a week. Here's the 3-1. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Smolinski.
Even early in the camp, we're seeing some pretty good pitching today from Hundred and from Gallardo. Change of speeds, changing the hitter's eye level.
Ryu's back was a bit sore the first couple of weeks of spring, so this is but his second outing. Throw down to second base. Ball 4 to Smolinski. Ryu, who rarely shows much emotion out there, was surprised by the call of home plate umpire Anthony Johnson.
That looked pretty good right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, spring training for everybody, though, so.
Now Ed Lucas coming up. Dodgers saw him last year with the Marlins. Good looking bunt. Ryu has to hurry. Gets Lucas, but a perfectly placed sacrifice. Now the Rangers have runners at second and third with 1 out.
That was nicely done by everybody. Lucas, good placement. For sure got the runners over and almost doubled up on it. Ended up getting almost got a hit out. But Rue made a nice play on this. Step, turn, throw.
Ryu's a very good athlete.
He's a great athlete. He really is. Great sense of humor. Great competitor. Again, you think about coming over from a different land, not speaking the language or really understanding much of it.
Jonas Martin. 0-1. Martin lined to first in his first at bat.
And he adapted right away. Probably one of our more popular players, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, see him and Uribe all the time. I wonder what that conversation's like. Every time Uribe goes to the mound, I'm wondering what language are they really speaking here.
Well, even when you speak with Uribe, sometimes you wonder what language you're speaking. But they've really forged a great friendship.
Yep.
As Martin fouls it back. And it's 0-2.
Martin really came on last year at the end of the year and gave them a lot of hope that he's going to be able to lead off for him. Cuban player, actually named after Lionel Richie.
Really?
His mom was a big Lionel Richie fan. Named him after Lionel.
Of course.
Signed in May of 2011, 5-year deal. Came to the big leagues on the August.
That one was asking for trouble. So the error by Van Slyke. A couple of runs come in, and the Rangers take a 2-1 lead.
Every once in a while, you see a ball that you can almost tell that it's going to be a tough play because it's going to be caught or missed on an in-between hop. And as that ball started to go out there with the backspin on it, it looked like the farther it got, the closer it got to Scotty, the tougher it looked like it was going to be able to make that play.
And so the error and a couple of runs come in, and the Rangers lead 2-1. Here's Elvis Andrus. Takes high and away, 1 ball and no strikes. Remember Ryu's very first day with the Dodgers, and this was January or February a couple of years back. They were on one of those fan caravans, and we stopped off, I think, at a YMCA, and he was shooting tennis balls into a basket from like 20 feet. But it was one swish after another.
Yep.
You look at him and go, again, it's a little thing that means nothing other than watching this great athlete at work. Turner can't grab it. Martin will hold at third. Infield hit for Andrews.
You would have had to be a very tall third baseman to be able to come back with that one.
See, Corey Seager should have been over there, for goodness sakes. We'll see Seager later on.
That's
today,
a tough
by the
play. You know, he may have saved an extra base on that.
First and third, 1 out, and here is Adrian Beltre. Now Beltre, which is certainly discussion worthy. In his 17th big league season, of course, came up with the Dodgers in '98. He's right on the borderline of Hall of Famer.
Well, as we mentioned the last time up, you get to 3,000 hits with rare exception, and there's got to be almost an asterisk next to your name not to be able to get in.
He's at 2,604, and he's been as good a defensive third baseman in his generation.
I think he's got a great shot at 3,000, barring something that you can't predict today. He's also in the right league, so as he gets older, he needs to take some time here and there. He can still DH.
395 career home runs, 285 lifetime average.
Gold Glove player.
And was 19 years old when he broke in with the Dodgers. And over the past 5 years, he's hit .316. Two balls, 2 strikes to Beltre, with Martin at third base and Andrews at first. Grandal. Whoops, that was not pretty. There was no reason for Grandal to throw down to second base. Well, another error. This is not the kind of inning the Dodgers have seen very often this spring.
It looks like Grandal got it caught in between here. Thought about it and then went back and did it. That play needs to be executed differently than that. Kendrick has almost got to come in on it if you're going to make the play at the plate or try to get the runner on third to jump. You've got to execute it differently than that.
Kendrick in short right. 2 out.
The Defense has been great all spring. Yep.
This inning, however, not so good. This is likely the last inning of work for Ryu, as Rick Honeycutt's going to go out and talk to him and probably take his temperature as much as anything else. How you feeling? He's thrown 21 pitches in this inning, Ryu. Came into the inning having thrown 24 in the first 2 innings combined. And here comes Kyle Blanks to hit.
When he was a young player with the Padres, the power he had in Petco Park was, it almost, you thought that he'd have a chance to really be a good big league player because of the power that he had in a ballpark that was tough to hit him out of.
Well, it looks like Elvis Andrus is going to be tagged out. And he is, and he was, by Scott Van Slyke. It could have been worse for the Dodgers. Rangers come up with 3 at the end of the line for Ryu as we head to the 4th. Half of the 4th, Juan Nicasio warming up in the Dodger bullpen, suggesting it's going to be the end of the line for Hyun-Jin Ryu. Not so for Yovani Gallardo. And in his first 3 innings, 40 pitches, 23 for strikes, couple of strikeouts. He's given up a run and 3 base hits. Grandal and Kendrick and Turner will bat for the Dodgers here in the 4th. Grandal bounced to second base in his first at-bat. Hit the ball pretty solidly. And he takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Tomorrow the Cubs will be at Camelback Ranch. Brandon McCarthy and Jake Arrieta, and we'll be back with you at 1 o'clock on Sportsnet LA. 1-1. Grandal, big rip, fouls it back. Yeah.
When you see players intermittently because they play in other clubs, it's always a good curiosity to see him every day. And I'm interested to see him play a lot, to get to know him, and after watching him play against us for a while.
Another big rip. Nothing shy about his swings.
You know, his age is a great benefit for us. He's a young man. He's a young catcher, and to have somebody at his age who can switch hit, and's got some experience, helps bridge a gap pretty well.
Into left field, and Ruiz there. Pretty well hit by Grandal, too. So that's the first out of the fourth, and Howie Kendrick is coming up. For Yovani Gallardo, career record of 89 and 64. His best season 2011 when he won 17 games. Career ERA of 3.69. Delivers low and outside to Kendrick, who singled to right and scored the Dodgers' only run of the day, and that was back in the second.
You're 25 games over 500 career-wise with an ERA in the threes.
Upstairs and inside.
I'm curious why Milwaukee actually traded him. Finding starting pitching like this isn't easy.
They got 3 young fellas in return. Brewers did. Infielder Luis Sardinas, pitcher Corey Knebel, and Marcos Diplan. Kendrick takes a walk with 1 out here in the fourth. Second walk given up by Gallardo.
This would be his 50th pitch. He's probably getting near the end here. Although there's nobody out.
Yeah, looking out at the Milwaukee bullpen. Nothing but spectators out there at the moment. Juan Nicasio likely to be the next Dodger pitcher. Turner checks his swing as first base umpire Corey Blazer. Anthony Johnson calling balls and strikes today. So Turner, a double in his first at bat, is 8 for 22 this spring.
JT's a real good example of somebody who got a second chance. You think about being non-tendered and being a free agent and signing a minor league contract as a relatively young player. You know, he's got some veteran status to him, but he's not in his mid-30s or anything close to that. And came into camp last year and ended up winning a job. And as we heard a lot last year early, missing Nick Punto and missing Skip Schumacher, guys like that was going to be big shoes to fill. But he ended up having one of the best years of anybody.
He came home. He was certainly comfortable at Dodger Stadium, where he spent a good portion of this past offseason working out pretty near every day. Kendrick was off and running with the pitch as Turner fouls it off to the left.
There was a point in the season last year where Uribe went down, and JT went out every day, and I think that really helped get his timing back. I think it also helped his confidence start to become stronger, and also became a more of an integral part of the club. Because whenever you come from a new club, you're going to have a period of adjustment. So we took that tough period of time when we're missing Juan. JT went in, filled in, and actually probably raised the stock quite a bit.
Turner down on strikes. Gallardo's third strikeout of the game.
JT looks like he got fooled on that. And, when you can pitch like Gallardo can pitch, you got to be prepared for just about everything, because obviously that is a different type of pitch than he typically throws. Up, soft, out of the zone, enticing.
Van Slyke walked in his first at bat. Very close play. It's the first time we've seen Robinson Chirinos. He's got some arm.
Yes. I think he missed some time early in his career too with a concussion. Missed a sizable part of the season. Somebody else that's fought through a lot to be here today, and right now he's the #1 catcher for Texas.
He's no kid. He's 30
years old. Yeah. kind of had a bit of a breakout season last year. But again, you put the time in and you're diligent with what you do. At some point in time, something's going to turn your way and you're going to get a break. And then it's up to you to take advantage of it, which it looks like you did a year ago.
Turned pro in 2001. Signed with the Cubs. Well hit to right. And a long run for Smolinski, but it's foul. .350 feet down the lines and 400 to straightaway center. 379 to the power alleys here at Surprise Stadium. Van Slyke 6 for 20 this spring. Gallardo set at the belt. If you get it past Adrian Beltre, you've got yourself ahead.
He's in at bat there for Scotty. Takes a pitch down in the zone. Hits it hard. As good as Adrian is, he can't get to that one.
So the Dodgers with a mini threat, 2 on, 2 out, and Jock Peterson coming up. Saw one pitch in his first at bat, bounced into a double play. Ellis on deck, Kendrick at second, Van Slyke at first. Throw down to second base. Man, what a cannon!
He likes to throw.
You see why?
He likes to throw.
Oh. Kendrick almost caught napping.
When you see somebody play like that in spring training, they are trying to take advantage of every opportunity they have to become as good as they can be.
0-1 to Peterson, 2 on, 2 out. Inside and low. A ball and a strike to Jock Peterson. 9 for 23, a home run and 3 runs batted in. Peterson has had a very solid spring to this point. Inside.
Good take there.
Everybody has the same feeling about this Dodger team within the building. Saw Mark McGwire yesterday, and he left, big smile on his face. Of course, Sweeney had hit the grand slam. And Schebler hit the 3-run home run. And he said, you know, it's so much fun watching the second half of these games. This is McGwire talking yesterday. Just feeling somewhat like a father to these kids and watching them progress, and how interesting the second half of these games have been, watching the kids progress.
I think it's been one of the best parts of it. It's typically in a spring training, you get to the 6th or 7th inning and you're interested from an organizational standpoint, certainly, but maybe from a fan standpoint, it loses some of its interest.
Well, Peterson hit it right on the screws and has nothing to show for it. Elvis Andrews makes the play, and the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 left after 3.5. 3-1 Texas. We are back in surprise. And to no surprise, Juan Nicasio is now on in relief. Hyun-Jin Ryu goes 3 innings. Gave up 3 runs and 3 hits. Dodgers made a couple of errors behind him. He struck out 3. Correct, he struck out 2 and walked 1. And finished with 45 pitches, 30 for strikes. And going into the game for Honeycutt, and Don Mattingly said, well, we'll give him about 3 innings and 45 pitches. Well, he got his 3 innings and his 45 pitches. What was your impression of his work today?
You know, I thought the first 2 innings obviously were real easy for him. And the 3rd inning, maybe got just a touch tired. Had a couple errors behind him. May prolong the inning, prolong the thought process. And sometimes when you're preparing for it, an inning to end and it continues for another few hitters like that, you could lose your confidence, your concentration a touch.
Here's Nicasio, hard-throwing right-hander, formerly with the Rockies, and Kyle Blanks, formerly with the Padres. Get the fastball up and away.
I think this is an interesting chance here for him. Go from starting and trying to get 18, 21 outs to trying to get 3 outs or maybe 6 outs. He's always had a great arm, always had plus stuff. Comes down to sometimes command and making sure that your strikes are in a different part of the zone than in the midst of it.
2 balls and a strike. Ludwig on deck, Rua to follow. Two and 2. And the theory is, if you come from a starter, get back into a bullpen situation, you're only going to face 3 or 4 batters, and that's it. You don't have to see him a second or third time during a game.
You try to keep anybody that you sign that is not signed as a relief pitcher, and there's very few that are. You're going to wait as long as you can before you ask him to convert to a relief position. But it's such a different mentality that if you can, it should be something that somebody with great stuff, like years ago, Eric Gagne.
Rollins could not make the play cleanly. Blanks a base hit.
Like Eric Gagne, who was a starter that really had a tough time getting past the 3rd or 4th inning, became a relief pitcher, and suddenly the whole dynamic is condensed to you can use your best stuff and you don't have to worry about doing it a 2nd or 3rd time. Just kicked away from Jimmy, and we're having a different type of defense today than we've had the first 14, 15 games.
Not sure he would have gotten Blanks anyway, but Blanks is aboard. Ludwig is the hitter.
Ludwig was part of a 3-team trade, I think, at the deadline. Cleveland and St. Louis. He went to San Diego. Westbrook went to St. Louis. And a kid named Kluber that went from San Diego to Cleveland.
Merely the Cy Young Award winner in the American League this past year. And the opening day starter for Terry Francona. So Nicasio falls behind, 2 balls and no strikes.
That's some good scouting right there. You got 2 established big league players and a younger player, and the younger player goes on, and the 2 big league players are obviously good players, but the kid ends up winning the Cy Young.
Nicasio having difficulty finding the plate, 3-0. For Nicasio, this is his 4th appearance of the spring. 4 runs in 4 innings. He's given up now 8 base hits. 3 balls and a strike to Ryan Ludwig.
Ludwig thought that was ball 4.
Both sides have had a few issues with home plate umpire Anthony Johnson today. Ludwig with a home run and 2 runs batted in. Breaks his bat and singles to right.
It was a good pitch.
And it was a nice bat.
Juan gets it where he wants it. Ludwig fights it off. Breaks the bat and hits a single to right. Sometimes it's just going to happen, Charlie.
Ryan Rua is coming up. First base coach for the Rangers, Hector Ortiz, having a chat with Ludwig over there.
A couple years ago, Rua hit 34 home runs between AA and AAA. They like him. They really like him against left-handed pitching. He may end up in a platoon situation here as a full-time outfielder.
6'2", 190. He's from Ohio.
Relatively late round picked in the 17th round.
Takes a strike. Had 105 at-bats with the Rangers last year and hit .295. The Rangers have a vacancy sign in left field. Comebacker. Casio. There's 1. And 2. Van Slyke manages to keep his foot on the bag. Blanks goes to third, 2 out.
Good play by Scotty. That could have turned into a one less out, a runner on second, and a runner on third now would have been home. Decent throw to the right side of the bag. And good stretch by Scotty. Getting me out, keeping his foot on the bag.
It's like 6'4", 6'5", and needed every inch to make the play. Now the Rangers catcher, Robinson Chirinos, an infield hit and a run scored in his first at-bat. That was a pretty good rip.
He plays aggressive.
Yeah.
He plays aggressive. It might be St. Patrick's Day, but he's into it.
Already shown a terrific throwing arm. And he takes a strike. And it's 0-2.
In 4 innings, he's thrown twice to second base and twice to first base, trying to back double somebody up there.
All strikes.
Yep.
All with some urgency. And he's 6 for 10 this spring. A home run and a couple of RBIs. Nicasio on 0-2.
Decent 0-2 pitch. Back him off just a touch, give him something to think about.
We're also likely to see Paco Rodriguez, J.P. Howell, David Ardzwa, Pedro Baez, and Daniel Colon before the day is done after Ryu went 3. One hop at a perfectly positioned Howie Kendrick. That'll end the inning. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 left, and we'll go to the 5th with the Rangers leading 3-1. Rick Honeycutt having a conversation, the post-mortem, with Juan Nicasio. Nicasio.
Here's Hunchiru. Watch him. He's going to work both sides of the zone. Outer half, inner half. Good workout for him today.
He finished with 45 pitches and 30 for strikes. And former Dodger Joe Beimel now on in relief. Last year up in Seattle. A 2.20 ERA, and opposing hitters were hitting .236 against him.
Back in my first spring here, we signed Joe Beimel to a minor league contract that gave him a chance to make the club. He had had middling success before that with Pittsburgh and Montreal and Minnesota and Tampa. Ended up pitching in 62 games for us that year, 83 games the next year, 71 games the next year. Became a real good left-on-left guy.
And he delivers a strike to A.J. Ellis, and it's 0-2.
In Seattle last year, pitched to a .220 ERA in 56 games, less than a hit an inning. Not a big strikeout guy, but a guy that can figure out a way to get people out. He's had really, when you think about it, a really good career after it. The start of it was kind of nondescript.
He found his way with the Dodgers and lost his way with the Dodgers.
Yes, he did. He had a tough night in New York right on the eve of our '06 playoff series against the Mets. And rebounded after that, though, and ended up having a real good run with us for a while.
1-2 to Ellis. Got a board on an error in his first at-bat.
He always seems to be somebody that is left on the free agent market late. And it might be January, late January or early February. And people are always looking for left-handed pitching. And they end up saying, well, let's give Joe one more chance. And he's probably had 5 or 6 of those and always pays a dividend.
Out of Western Pennsylvania. And here comes Jimmy Rollins. Rollins has singled and has been struck out. So Gallardo for the Rangers goes 4 innings, a run and 4 hits, 3 strikeouts and a walk. Beimel, the second pitcher of the day, delivers a strike, and it's 0-1. Rollins singled in his first at-bat and struck out in his second. And doubles in his third. So Jimmy Rollins makes a big turn, flirting with the notion of 3. For Rollins, his third 2-base hit of the spring.
Right up over the middle of the plate. Jimmy's not going to miss many of those.
Jimmy Rollins is done. And Alex Guerrero is going to take over for him.
Joe may be the lone lefty in Texas's bullpen this year, at least at the outset of it.
And today, looking at the Ranger roster, looks like they're going to go, as of now, with just a couple of guys out of the bullpen. So it looks like Beimel's going to get stretched. And Nick Tepesch is also listed. And after that, who knows? Crawford off the glove of Andrews. He's had a tough day out there. Is that a throwing error?
You wonder if he's able to see it off the bat with the glare and the sunshine. Wouldn't have taken an extraordinary play to make that. The ball that he threw away looks like he hadn't had a good grip on it, which sometimes can occur when for a split second you're uncomfortable with where the ball's coming off the bat. Because obviously he's a great player, great shortstop.
And signed for a long time here.
Yes, he is. I think he's signed for 8 years, and 8 years, $118 million through 2022.
That's job security, kids. Yasiel Puig is 0 for 2. Ball inside and low, 1 ball and no strikes.
Remember New Year's Eve, 1999? This kid signed to 2022. Yeah. New millennium, and it'll be at 22% into the new millennium.
Puig is flied to right and struck out swinging. And chops one over the middle past Andrews into center field. Here comes Guerrero. And an RBI single for Yasiel Puig. And the Dodgers pulled to within 1. It's 3-2.
Yasiel looking for something down the middle, and Joe, who's pretty good against left-handed hitting, not quite as good against right-handed hitting. Tough to get that past the seal.
And Puig's day is done.
Let's see Grandal right-handed now.
Buck Britton is running for Puig at first base. So Puig leaves with cash and parting gifts and 1 for 3. Grandal is 0 for 2. As you have watched Grandal over the years, switch hitter, which side is he more dangerous?
You know, it's without looking at the stats, I think that in order to switch hit the big leagues, in order to really do it, you've got to be proficient on both ends. Otherwise, your hitting coach, your manager is going to tell you to put one side away. So I think that he's capable both sides. Obviously, he's going to see more right-handed pitching and be hitting left-handed far more than he will the other way.
Well, he drills a base hit into left field. And here comes Crawford. RBI single for Grandal. And the Dodgers have tied it at 3, beating up their old friend Joe Beimel.
Right-handed hitters, tough on Joe. Especially guys that are going to play in the big leagues every day.
So Grandal with his 4th run batted into the spring. And Howie Kendrick is coming up.
It's part of the reason I like having both guys here, AJ and Grandal, because you can platoon, you can give each guy a chance against the side he's most proficient at without ever losing that advantage. So you're going to have an advantage in that catching spot pretty much every day.
Kendrick single to right, scored a run in the second, and he's also walked. Dodgers have now out-hit the Rangers 7-5 each side with a couple of errors. We're tied at 3. 2 on, 1 out in the 5th. Kendrick fouls it to the left.
Our guys are having some pretty comfortable at-bats here. It's like Tepesh and both throwing now in the Texas bullpen.
A couple of right-handers, Nick Tepesh and Ross Wolf. Kendrick rolls it foul.
Good to see our old friend Randy Wolf back at a big league camp with Toronto.
He'll never go away.
No. He throws with the with the correct hand. The left hand. I was going to say the right hand, but that would have been incorrect.
He's a survivalist. It's a whole lot easier being a survivalist as a left-hander in the big leagues. And of course, his brother Jim is major league umpire. On 0-2, Kendrick with a fly ball to left center field, and that one is long.
We got him.
Oh, what a shot off the bat of Howie Kendrick. A 3-run blast. Dodgers with 3 home runs in the 8th inning yesterday. A 3-run shot here in the 5th, and now they lead it 6-3 for Kendrick, his first home run of the year.
Boy, oh boy, right down the middle. Howie knew it when he hit it. Howie was looking for it, and unfortunately, Joe's doesn't have much for right-handed hitters today. That one way up.
Justin Turner coming up. And Turner off the glove of Beimel. This is one of those days where Joe Beimel should have stayed in bed.
Joe's hoping to see a left-handed hitter here soon, I think.
Kike Hernandez is going to pinch run for Turner.
We've been better off letting it go, but you don't know that until you're watching the replay.
And so Turner finishes his afternoon 2 for 3 and an RBI.
How about yesterday's 8th inning and today's 5th so far?
Oh. Dodgers are flexing their muscles. Van Slyke is a hit and a walk this afternoon. Beimel is getting beaten up.
It's been a rough 15 minutes.
And Jock Peterson is on deck. Beimel struck out his old battery mate A.J. Ellis to begin the inning, and then it came undone in a hurry. A double for Rollins, an error by Andrews. Puig single, Grandal single, Kendrick a 3-run home run. Then Turner with an infield hit off the glove of Joe Beimel. The Dodgers now 6 runs and 9 base hits.
Looks right now like he's pitching away from contact, which I guess you can't blame him.
As when he's been pitching to contact, there's been plenty of it. Again, outside and high. "20 pitches thrown by Beimel in this 5th inning that can't end fast enough for him.
Three 3-0 swinging.
Why not?
Can't blame him.
Talk about playing with house money. Even in exhibition play, what a pitcher must be thinking. Every time he throws a pitch up, it's getting crushed. Now 3-2 to Van Slyke. Peterson awaits.
Serve it up, Joe.
Kike Hernandez is pinch running at first base for Justin Turner. Not going. Outside, ball 4. Nothing going right for Beimel. And so Jeff Bannister is going to come and take him out of his misery.
Tough St. Patrick's Day there.
Oh.
You got it?
Well, Bimel's day is done, and not a moment too soon. Ross Wolf will be coming in when we come back. You can have a great opening day at Dodger Stadium and guarantee your seat at Dodger Stadium. Visit the ballpark on Friday between 9 and 5 and purchase an opening day mini plan and even take your picture with the '81 World Series trophy. We'll also help you plan your next group outing to Dodger Stadium. Visit Dodgers.com/open house. Beimel, a third of an inning, and to this point, 5 runs, 5 hits. And the 2 runners aboard are his responsibility. Ross Wolf trying to get out of the mess. Peterson takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
Ross Wolf first appeared in the big leagues back in 2007 in Florida. It took him another 3 years to get back to the big leagues.
6 foot, 190 pounds. Peterson bounced into a double play and lined to short. 0 for 2. He crushed his that line drive to short in his last at bat. And this will be your garden variety infield fly rule. Andrews.
Little anxious on that one. Boy, he wanted it.
Now A.J. Ellis coming up. Wolf has kicked around. Had 14 appearances with the Marlins in 2007. Didn't do too well. The ERA of over 11. 11 appearances with the A's in 2010. An ERA of 4.25. And made 22 appearances with the Rangers last year. 3 starts and an ERA of over 4. So he's gone from the Marlins organization, Orioles, A's, Astros, back to the Orioles. Pitched a year in Korea. And so he is a journeyman. Ellis, 0-2.
.94 hits and 24 walks and 72 big league innings.
No balls and 2 strikes. Ellis takes inside. It's 1-2. Ellis began the inning. Beimel struck him out. And then the vaudevillian trapdoor. And Beimel was done. Drill toward the left field corner, but foul.
Well, we've had enough pinch runners this inning, so at least we'll know where they're all in the lineup.
As long as it's straight up. You know. Let's see. Guerrero pinch ran for Rollins. Will Guerrero go to short? That was a spot that he tried last year with not a whole lot of success. Hernandez came in to pinch run for Turner. So Guerrero likely to go to third.
Yeah, probably switch the defense on that.
And Hernandez will go to short. The 2-2 into center field. Martine's got a long way to go, and he's not going to get it. Hernandez will score, and Van Slyke will score. A 2-run double for A.J. Ellis, and the Dodgers lead 8-3, and the rout is on.
Another big inning for the Dodgers here. A.J. goes down and gets one. It's the ball's carrying him obviously well to center field between Howie's home run and this ball. Both had good carry to them. Another big inning. 7 runs this inning, 8 yesterday in the 8th.
And now Alex Guerrero, who pinch ran for Jimmy Rollins here in the 5th.
There's not many innings where you pinch run for somebody and get the hits for them in the same inning.
And it's been a really solid spring for Alex Guerrero. Eight for 17. To short. Andrews goes across the diamond. Big target. Kyle Blanks. So Howie Kendrick with a 3-run home run. The big blast here in the 5th. The Dodgers lead at 8-3. J.P. Howell now on in relief for the Dodgers as we go to the bottom half of the 6th. Nicasio went an inning, no runs and 2 hits. Joe Beimel, a third of an inning, 7 runs and 5 base hits. So
we're going to get a look at Guerrero at short.
So Guerrero is playing short. Okay. Been a while. Actually, he's played left field reasonably well this spring. Kyle Jensen takes over at first base. Matt Carson in center field.
Well, it's not a matter of whether or not Alexander's going to be able to hit. It's going to be a matter of where he's going to be able to play in the field.
Smolinski, the batter for the Rangers in the bottom half of the fifth. Smolinski takes up and away. Darwin Barney takes over at second base. So the Dodgers now freely substituting. Smolinski swings and misses.
In all my years, I can't think of somebody who's a better teammate and a better guy to have on a club than J.P. Hall.
He is terminally happy.
You know? When we signed him, the word was that he was one of the most popular players and one of the guys that Joe Madden hated most to have to say goodbye to in Tampa.
Dodgers more than happy to say hello. Ran out of gas in September last. Drilled into left field, a base hit for Smolinski as we begin the fifth. Try and get you caught up on all the Dodger changes. As Ed Lucas steps in. Lucas today has sacrificed in his only plate appearance. Ball outside and low. For Howell, missing outside, it's 2 balls and no strikes. His third appearance, 2 innings, 2 runs and 2 hits. Leonis Martin awaits on deck. There's a strike. It's 2-1. High 3-1. So Howell is having some early difficulty here.
Struggling with his command a bit.
First and second and nobody out. And Leonis Martin coming up. Line to first in his first at-bat. Got a board on an error in his second at-bat. Dodgers with a 7-run 5th inning. Martin, 27. This has just been a sloppy game defensively for the Dodgers, and a mix-up between Grandal and Howell.
Martin got out of the box so fast, I'm not sure they could have thrown it anyway. Played surprise, got out of the box quick. As I said, I'm not sure if either player picks the ball up cleanly, they can throw him out.
So now the Rangers have the bases loaded with one out. And Elvis Andrus coming up, and he is 2 for 2.
The middle of the lineup is coming out the door here.
And a cue shot into the right field corner. Smolinski scores. Lucas scores. And the Rangers have second and third, and still nobody out.
It's maybe one of those days, Charlie.
Elliot Johnson is going to pinch run for Elvis Andrus. Elvis is about to leave the building.
Off the end of the bat and just inside the line.
Andrus 3 for 3 today.
And look who's coming up.
Adrian Beltre is 0 for 2. Bounced into a double play, popped to second base. Blanks on deck. Upstairs and outside, 1 ball, no strikes.
It's going to be a tough matchup here.
Howell is having all sorts of problems out here. Two and 0.
Trying to get him to chase something that he can't handle. He's a little bit too good for that.
You know. Smolinski began the inning with a single to left. Lucas would walk. Martin bunts for a hit. Andrus, cue shot down the first base line, doubled home 2. And J.P. Howell overthrows that pitch, and you see some frustration there. Bases are loaded, second walk.
The top prospects, Joey Gallo coming in to run for Beltre.
Elliot Johnson is pinch running at second base for Andrus. Kyle Blanks is coming up.
Comes Rick Honeycutt.
J.P. Howell has thrown 16 pitches and 1 strike. Oh, Rick Honeycutt trying to calm down a rattled J.P. Howell.
Pedro Baez getting loose. I hope JP's okay.
A week or so ago, he was battling a tight groin. He has faced 5 batters. All 5 have gotten the board. The bases are loaded, 2 in, and still nobody out of the bottom of the 5th after the Dodgers scored 7 in the top half of the 5th. Blanks 1 for 2. It's looking like Hal can't find the plate with a GPS.
16 out of 17.
16 out of 17. Gone for balls. Oh boy.
Yeah. Foul ball.
That's the best news that Hal could have gotten. Ryan Ludwig is on deck. Best pitch he's thrown in the inning. Buckled the knees of Blanks. One ball and 2 strikes.
Protective swing there. Trying to keep the at-bat alive.
Blanks generally a big free swinging slugger. A rare defensive swing. Martin is at third. Elliott Johnson at second. Joey Gallo is at first. 2 in, still nobody out in the bottom of the 5th. To left field. And it's going to get caught against the wall by Chris Heisen. Martin comes in to score. Johnson goes to third. Gallo to second. For Blanks' second RBI of the spring. It's the 3rd run of the 5th for the Rangers. It is now 8-6.
The wind's picking up to left field right now, and that one looked for a moment like it might carry to the bullpen, but luckily it stayed within the yard.
Sacrifice fly for Blanks, his second run batted into the spring. Ryan Ludwig rips it to third. Kike Hernandez makes a nice play out of it. Ludwig is retired, 2 out.
I like Hernandez. He can play all over the place. He's steady. He not only has good hands and a good arm, but he's got a good baseball IQ for a lot of different positions.
So essentially, Hernandez, Austin Barnes, who was sent out, young catcher, Chris Hatcher,
and Howie
Kendrick.
Yep. Pretty good haul.
For Dan Herron and D. Gordon. Well, Don Mattingly is going to come and take J.P. Howell out of his misery. Ryan Rule will be coming up, and he'll be facing Pedro Baez when we come back. So far, no runs, 1 hit in 3 innings. Big hard throwing right-hander. He can bring it.
Like Chris Hatcher, Kenley Jansen was signed as a position player. Found the offensive part. Yep, we signed him out of a DR tryout one day. Loved the arm, loved the hands, and hoped he could hit. And as time went on, the hitting became more and more of a challenge for him. But the arm, as we've all seen and saw for 20 games last year at the big league level, plus a little bit in the postseason, the arm's real. He had a remarkable feel for pitching early on. And sometimes when you make a conversion like that from in the case of Hatcher and Kenley, from the catching position, you know that they probably have a feel for it. From third base, a little bit different deal. But he adapted quickly.
Ryan Rua was second and third. Nothing 1. So J.P. Howell, 2/3 of an inning, 2 walks. 3 runs and 3 hits. Tough day at the office for J.P. Howell. No question about his ability to throw hard.
It's really a matter of learning how to pitch versus throw hard, and he's gaining on it. He hasn't pitched for that long a period of time,
but he does not appear to be overwhelmed by the moment.
No.
Into center field, Matt Carson is there. That'll end the inning. But the Rangers come up with 3 in the bottom of the 5th. We'll go to the 6th. The Dodgers lead by 2. Dodger fans, mark your calendars for Wednesday, April the 8th, when the Dodgers play host to the San Diego Padres at 7:10. First 40,000 fans in attendance will receive an adult replica pullover jacket presented by Bank of America. To secure your tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Carlos Corporon is the new catcher, and there are a bunch of other Rangers changes, which we will attend to as quickly as humanly possible. And it may take a while. Chris Heisey will lead it off. You take a look at Tepesh, who becomes the 3rd Ranger pitcher of the day. Chris Heisey takes a strike and is 0-1. Buck Britton is on deck. Heisey on the spring is 1 for 17. Make it 2 for 18. A clean, hard line drive single to left.
Good for him. You know, sometimes when a player comes to a new organization that's got high expectations, both as a team and as an individual, you get a little pressure going, and next thing you know, you're 1 for 17 in the spring. But he's a good player. Gives us some power off the bench, versatility in the outfield.
He's an outstanding 4th or 5th outfielder, good defender, lots of speed, and a terrific pinch hitter. Now Buck Britton swings and misses, and it's 0-1.
And I believe a winning type player too, which you got to have. It's not, pennant race isn't meant for everybody, and it's, you know, you need players that have got strong minds, strong heart to battle through whatever comes your way. And also when you get to September, when those bats, every play gets magnified, and of course October is even more magnified than September.
It's the Clint Eastwood line. A man has to know his limitations, and Heisey understands his role and what his role will be here.
I think our bench last year was really good. Obviously a lot of guys played key roles. Scotty, JT, we've talked about a few times. Miguel Rojas, who filled in at short for us a lot. I think this year's bench got a chance to be even better.
Now Rojas seemingly came out of nowhere.
Yep. Played great defense for us, as Hanley Ramirez was struggling from time to time, both physically and also defensively.
Heisey back.
A lot of times the bench gets overlooked, and you don't, I guess you don't realize how valuable it is until you don't have a good one.
On the night Kershaw's perfect game, chopped over the head of Blanks into right field, and Heisey will go to third. The ball is bobbled in right. No advance for either runner, but the Dodgers have first and third and nobody out.
Hit perfectly with the perfect bounce.
And if it gets over the head of Kyle Blanks, that's going to be a high bounce.
Yeah.
Blanks about 6'7", 6'8". So it's first and third, and Grandal coming up.
Yeah.
And Darwin Barney is on deck. Grandal today is 1 for 3. And a call strike, 0-1.
You look at all the decisions that are going to need to be made between now and the end of this month, early into April. A lot of great choices. You'd rather have good choices, and choices that are tough to make because of the quality of the individual and the quality of the players, than trying to make somebody into something they're not. Trying to take a minor league player and make him into a big league player. It's better to have the big league guys, and better to have young players that we've seen this spring that have the ability, just lacking some experience, all in the mix. I think our bench has got a chance to be very good, and the choices that are going to be made at the end of this camp are going to be difficult. But again, it's all fluid. They may last for a week, they may last for a day, they may last for a season.
Grandal takes up and in. 1 and 2.
But having a competition and having the choices makes your team better.
Heisey's at third base. Buck Britton is at first, back with the head first slide. Monday, April the 6th, the Dodgers open with the Padres at Dodger Stadium. Kershaw, and the expectation is James Shields will with the opening day starters. Randall is down on strikes.
That'll be a great matchup.
We were talking about Miguel Rojas before, and how terrific he was coming off the bench defensively. Kershaw, when he saw that perfect game go up in smoke on the error by Hanley Ramirez last year, the very next play was Miguel Rojas at third base, made a spectacular play to keep the no-hitter intact.
And really his secondary position, too. We told Miguel at the end of the 2013 season that his best chance to be in the big leagues would be to learn how to play second and third, along with being able to play shortstop. And to his credit, he played it in winter ball. He came into camp early. He and Guerrero came in for early part of January in 2014, and he learned how to play the position, and that play was one of the best plays of the season.
Into right field. Tagging and scoring is Heisel. Throw gets past Corcoran, but Britton can't go beyond second base. So a sac fly for Darwin Barney. And the Dodgers now lead 9-6. And Kike Hernandez coming up. Yeah, Rojas was one of those guys you couldn't help but root for. Because he was a guy that he may have been short on some skills. Defensively, he was obviously terrific. But he left it all out there every day. Gets past Corcoran. There will be no throw, and Britton will go to third.
Some of the things that get lost in a season sometimes, overshadowed by power or great pitching, is your defense. And when you are below average in some positions, especially up the middle, you're always on edge. And you know, like the old Pedro Guerrero story, you know, and Steve Saxon, don't hit it to Saxy, whatever, you know, the time of the sort of story. It's so important to be able to pick it up. Like you said, Rojas was somebody you rooted for because he knew it was a opportunity he had yearned for a long time, and he wasn't going to give any ground to making it great.
And he tried so hard. He just left it out. He was fun to watch. He gave you everything he had. So hopefully it all works out for him in South Florida.
Good man.
On 1 and 2, Hernandez into center field, and the catch is made out there near the end. Well, the Dodgers come up with another run, and 3 base hits and leave 1 after 5.5. Dodgers with a 9-6 lead. Raving about the Dodgers through the first 15 games and how fundamentally sound and how crisp the games have been played. Not so much today.
It happens. It happens this time of year. Yeah. Right now, you look around the infield, and you got Barney, and you got Guerrero, and you got Kiki. All three are fighting for positions on this team, and all are versatile. The two guys on the left side can both play the outfield. So as you put your roster together, when you've got your 8 everyday guys, your 12 pitchers, you've got 5 spots left. One's going to a catcher, and typically 2 would go to an outfielder, 2 would go to an infielder. But when you can play both the infield and the outfield like Figgins did last year for us, your versatility is enhanced a lot. So by virtue of both Kiki and Alexander having some outfield experience, that may lead to a different, them having maybe a leg up on making the club out of the camp or not.
This is Carlos Corcoran leading off for the Rangers in the bottom of the 6th. And it's 1-1. Wind is blowing out now from left field toward right. It's blowing the other way earlier in the day. Corcoran, the first base. Jensen makes a nice stab. That's the first out of the bottom of the 6th. Baez faced 1 batter in the 5th, and he's got the 6th on his plate. This is Carlos Peguero. Well hit to center. And out of here. Carlos Peguero with a shot off Baez, and it's now 9-7.
Peguero originally signed by the Seattle organization. Signed by Bob Engel and Patrick Guerrero, 2 gentlemen who work for the Dodgers now internationally. Baez left it up, and this kid is so big and so strong. He had a couple years in the Seattle organization where he was over 20, 30 home runs. He's going to have to miss that to do some damage.
Thomas Field is there. He takes a strike, 0-1. So the Rangers have their not ready for primetime players in now. This Field swings and misses. It's 0-2. Dodgers and Cubs tomorrow. Brandon McCarthy and Jake Arrieta from Glendale. Baez rears back and fires, and Field is done. Second out.
Whenever we're out in Surprise or Goodyear, Peoria, or even Glendale, it's remarkable the expansion of the Cactus League in the last 15 years or so. There was a point in time when teams were being wooed to leave Arizona to go to Florida, and Arizona was in danger of losing maybe the entire league. But little by little, more teams migrated this way than that way.
With 2 out, Antoine Richardson the hitter. What has happened Used to have a couple of teams up there in Tucson, which is about a 2-hour plus drive. But now all the clubs are within a 40-45 minutes drive from one another.
Yep.
Most of them are about 10-15 minutes. Whereas in Florida, when the Dodgers were at Vero Beach, the closest journey was to Port St. Lucie.
Yep.
And that was about 40 minutes. Here in Arizona, that is the longest journey.
I had spent my first 25 years in the Cactus League. And when I got to Vero for 3 years, and the history of the place was remarkable. When you think about who had trained there and everything that had gone on there, it wasn't lost on you. But then you get in the car and you drive.
And then you get lost.
Hour, 2 hours, 3 hours one way to a game.
And then you get there and it starts to rain.
Yes. You were missing too much of the day. I loved spending time on the minor league side for a good part of the morning. And in Florida, it was tough to do.
Richardson done. So are the Rangers. They score a run in the 6th. We head to the 7th. Dodgers 9-7. As we go to the 7th inning, Nick Tepish in his 2nd inning of relief. Kyle Blanks at first base is the only Ranger who started the game that's still out there. And this is Kyle Jensen leading off for the Dodgers as we begin the 7th. Talking about Vero Beach, the charm and the history. The other reality was that that was where the Brooklyn Dodgers used to train. It was backhanded play by Joey Gallo at third. Jensen is retired, 1 out and nobody on. But time marches on and waits for no one, and the Dodger fan base from Brooklyn died off.
It was. If you were a Dodger fan living in L.A. and you wanted to come out to spring training, you were flying all day to Orlando.
And then driving
a couple more hours to get to Vero. And if you're going to from our perspective, if you're going to rehab players and send them to your spring training site, we could never do it.
That's the beauty of being in Glendale, and as we were talking earlier, just the ease with which you can go from one ballpark to the next.
Yep.
And there's almost never a threat of rain out.
No.
Whereas in Florida, we'd have those thunderstorms in the afternoon.
I've been through springs out here where you had not one day of rain. And most days are like today where it's 75 to 85. Like I said earlier, it's 45 minutes to an hour from the eastern point to the western point.
So half the major league clubs are out here. The other half are back there. And again, there's so much time spent just going from one facility to the next. It's Matt Carson taking a call, 30 strike.
Well, spring training allows the general manager to really spend time with his entire group. And what I would typically do is spend the mornings over at the minor league side with the players, with the coaches, the training staff. Spend some time there, listen to their concerns, listen to their triumphs, trying to make it as good as you could make it. And then you can leave at noon and go to the game.
That luxury didn't exist in Vero.
No, if you'd had to leave about 9 o'clock in the morning in order to get to some of the places. And then by the time you got back, it was going to be 8 o'clock at night. So by virtue of training in Arizona, I think you've had a chance to do more than twice as much in the course of a day with your entire organization.
And that, from the organization point of view, obviously it's a plus. And for the fan base, it's an hour's flight or a 5 or 6 hour drive. Nice weekend.
We have such a tremendous fan base, and so many never had a chance to see games in spring training and experience that. Plus, the games are on the radio. They were starting at 10 a.m.
Yeah. So the Dodgers now in their 7th season in Arizona. Sharing Camelback Ranch with the White Sox.
White Sox used to be a Florida team.
Yeah.
Used to be in Sarasota.
Absolutely.
Texas used to be in what? Port Charlotte. Kansas City, that shares this facility, I think, was in Fort Myers.
Yep. Remember watching a game in Port Charlotte a very long time ago. Now pinch runner. Here's Corey Seager. You know, when you see now 61 trot onto the field, hey, there's Corey Seager.
Chan-Ho Park, he wore 61, didn't
Yes,
he?
he did. Now, whether or not Seager, when he makes it at some point with the Dodgers, whether that number gets trimmed, we'll find out. But 61 looks good on him now.
I think Mitch Poole and his staff will find a different type of number for
A
Mr. Seager.
suitable number.
Yeah. It's fine for a pitcher or a lineman. It's a little tough for an infielder.
Yeah. When Manny Ramirez came to the Dodgers, slowly hit behind second base, spin in the throw. Nice play by Elliott Johnson to end the inning.
We'll pick Manny up when we come back.
Sure, how he got to be 99.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you that something.
Can't wait. We're not in Vero anymore, Toto. We are in the bottom half of the 7th in surprise. Dodgers with a 9-7 lead, and Paco Rodriguez becomes the 5th Dodger pitcher of the afternoon. It was a tough day for J.P. Howell. Who gave up 3 runs and 3 hits in 2/3 of an inning. Baez had an inning and a third, 1 run and 1 base hit, and 1 strikeout. And now here's Paco. The first batter he'll be facing is Elliott Johnson. Now at the portion of his career where it called him much travel. Rodriguez delivers a strike, and it's 0-1. Before we went to break, we were talking about numbers. And number 99, that was worn by Manny Ramirez, that was not part of the original plan.
The day that Manny showed up, which was August 1st, 2008, well, the night before we make the deal, he calls me and he says, "Hey, Poppy," he says, "I want to wear number 24. I said, "Well, Manny, Walter Alston wore 24." And I had to explain to Manny who Walter Alston, the great career he had as a manager. Then he says, "Okay, how about 34? And I said, "Well, Fernando Valenzuela, one of the great lefties of last 30 years, wore number 34. And he says, "Okay, how about number 1? I says, "Well, the captain, Pee Wee Reese, wore number 1. All these numbers are hanging on the wall out in the outfield." And he goes, "Well, I'm the 4 hitter. How about number 4? I said, "Manny," I said, "how about picking a higher number?" He goes, "Well, who wore 99? I says, "Nobody here." So off he went to 99. Actually, Joe Bimo wore 97, who we saw earlier today for a little while.
Very little while. Yeah, Bimel had a rough day. 1/3 of an inning, 7 runs and 5 hits. And when he first, if memory serves, when they first put 99 on his jersey, he wasn't thrilled about it.
No. But then he got a little comfortable with it and went off to have probably two of the greatest months ever by a guy acquired at the deadline.
Johnson flies to center. The day that it was announced that Manny had come over, trade deadline, was the day Major League Baseball had come to Dodger Stadium to announce the World Baseball Classic Championship was going to be played at Dodger Stadium. And so a bunch of us were back in the waiting area. And I think it was Bob Dupay came over, who was in the commissioner's office at the time, and said, "Congratulations." Vin is there, I'm there, a couple of guys. "Congratulations for what?" "You guys just got Ramirez." We think, "What Ramirez?" "Who?" "Guy got Manny Ramirez." We all thought he was pulling our leg. And lo and behold, as you say, those 2 months were magical. This is Joey Gallo, by the way. It's easier to say the other Joey Gallo.
You know, many times deals take weeks, months, sometimes a year or two to complete by the time teams are ready to do it. That deal actually came together the morning of the deadline. Because the day before, there was a report that he was going to get traded to Florida.
And Gallo right into the glove of shortstop Alex Guerrero.
Perfectly played. And he was going to go to Florida. Bay was going to go from Pittsburgh to Boston. And Pittsburgh was going to get prospects. And I talked to Theo Epstein earlier that evening because he was trying to get Andy LaRoche from us because that was one of the guys Pittsburgh wanted. And I said, no, we're not, there was a 4A pitcher basically where we're getting offered back. So I said, we're not going to do that. And I says, congratulations, I see you got this deal done with Florida and Pittsburgh. And he goes, I don't think that's going to happen. And I went downstairs after that night's game, and we had one other deal that was percolating a little bit with San Diego for Greg Maddux. And it took us about 2 more weeks to pull that off. But that's all we had going. I talked to Joe Torre, our manager, and I said, I've got nothing going with San Diego right now, but what would you think about getting Manny Ramirez in here? And his eyes lit up, and he says, oh, my goodness. I've managed him in the All-Star game. We've obviously, in my Yankee days, we played against each other all the time. You think that could happen? I says, I don't know. But all I know is that I talked to Theo today, and he, I thought he had a deal made. And the tone of his voice told me that he needed to make a deal, but he didn't have one at hand. And sure enough, 5 in the morning the next day, he called and said, hey, you got interest in getting Manny Ramirez?
Blanks. Lines it foul. That's third base coach Tony Beasley.
And our situation was a little bit more complicated then. We didn't have the financial wherewithal to really do it. And Manny had $7+ million left on the deal. And I already knew what the answer was going to be if I had to take it anywhere. I said, Theo, we got great interest, but I don't have $7.5 million for you to pick up that contract.
1-2. Blanks takes inside a low 2-2.
So, lo and behold, in the next 8 hours, they moved us Manny Ramirez and $7+ million. We traded him Brian Morris and Andy to Pittsburgh. Boston got Bay. 2 other players went from Boston to Pittsburgh. That changed our world.
The 2-2 became Mannywood. But yeah, those 2 months.
Of all the hitters I've been around, I spent a lot of time with Bonds in San Francisco. I would say Bonds and Manny were 2 of the smartest hitters I'd ever spoke to.
3-2 from Paco Rodriguez to Kyle Blanks. Ground ball to third. Kike Hernandez just a bit outside. It's just been one of those days for both clubs, really.
You would think the wind was blowing from the left field line to first base with a couple of throws today.
Now Ryan Ludwig, who's been the DH today, and he is 1 for 3. Fouls it off to the left, and it's 0-1. When you say a hitter is a smart hitter, what does that mean?
Well, their understanding of the strike zone, their understanding of situations and how a particular pitcher is going to most likely pitch them, and ability to transform all that into a split-second decision and to do some damage. I don't know that Barry Bonds knew the name of every pitcher in the National League, but he knew their release point, he knew how they tried to get him out, and he knew where he could pick apart in at bat.
To center field. And Matt Carson is there. And that's going to end the inning. We'll talk about smart hitters as we go to the 8th, and the Dodgers leading at 9-7.
Angeles Dodgers may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Dodgers.
Back at Surprise with the wind blowing now from right field toward left. It's been blowing back and forth most of the day. Pretty good. Had a pretty good clip as the Dodgers get ready for their 2015 season. Thursday on Backstage Dodgers, we go behind the scenes with the catchers as A.J. Ellis and Yasmani Grandal work out with catching coach Steve Yeager. Plus, Maury Wills gets all mic'd up. Don't miss the all-new Backstage Dodgers Thursday at 7, only on Sportsnet LA. Chris Heisey leading it off. Paco Rodriguez goes an inning. 18 pitches, 12 strikes. His day is done. No balls and 2 strikes. Meanwhile, back to smart hitters and what makes them so smart.
You know, I think guys like Manny and Barry, I think their mind works.
Joey Gallo throws out Heisey, first out of the 8th.
Their mind works at a different clip, I think, and their recollection of what they've seen in the past is on almost instant recall. On the other side of it is the pitching, and Greg Maddux was one of the guys that I was with him. I saw his first pitch. I saw his last pitch. He got traded twice in his career, both times to the Dodgers. Only time it ever was traded. And he is, he's a consultant here, I think, in Texas.
And his brother is the pitching coach.
A common guy that probably was a genius when it came to pitching.
Mm-hmm.
And he could remember at bats from 5 or 6 years previous that he had with certain hitters, and attack the guy a different way if it made sense, or go back to what he had done forever.
Britton fouls it to the right.
When way before computers and way before analytics became a very, very pronounced part of this game, when I was working for the Cubs, we put together a program with the Tribune Company, which was a team owner. And what it did is it would chart the last pitch of an at-bat, the count, and the result. And we would give it to each starting pitcher a few days before they were starting so they could see how they had done. So when the New York Mets would come to town, you'd have the team with Howard Johnson on it. I remember this specifically with Greg. And so we had the chart of how Howard Johnson had done against him. And there was this pitch on the bottom that was a 3-2 fastball that he had struck him out on 4 years earlier. And Greg reviews this, and he comes back to me and he says, can we look this up on video or something? Because I don't believe this was the pitch I threw him in that at-bat. And he might have had 40 other at-bats in between those 2 at-bats with Howard, because the Cubs and the Mets were both in the NL East at the time. And sure enough, it was a different pitch.
To third, and Gallo throws out Britton, 2 out.
But that's what separates the great from the Hall of Fame.
I can't say my favorite. One of my favorite Greg Maddux stories is when you picked him up at the trade deadline. What year?
08.
08?
08, yeah. 08, and then
we get off the plane in...
I'm sorry, 06 and then 08.
Okay,
yep.
in 06. We arrive in Cincinnati.
Yep.
And we're getting off the plane. And all of the players are heading, well, naturally. We'll get to the story as Zarago grounds to first to end the inning. The Maddux story on the trade deadline of 06 in Cincinnati. Don't go anywhere. Coming back. Dodgers as we go to the bottom of the 8th. David Artsma trying to hook on. Paco Rodriguez, a solid inning. One inning and no hits. So it's the trade deadline, July 31st, 2006. The Dodgers arrive in Cincinnati, where they came from out of there. Getting off the plane, going down the stairs, onto the tarmac. Everybody's going to the left. And all of a sudden, it's Scott Akasaki. Hey, Cesar, this way. It was like there was a fork in the road and only one of them took it. This tourist had been traded. And at that point, we did not know for whom he was being traded. And we find out a few minutes later, we had landed. Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux is coming to the... How cool is this? So now, the next day, we go to the ballpark. It's been an off day, and then whatever it was, we get to the ballpark. The first day of Maddox's tenure with the Dodgers. This is Ryan Rua, swings and misses, and it's 0-1. Walk into the clubhouse, and I had known Maddux for years, and Monday had known Maddux for years, but none of the players did. I mean, it was like the King Tut exhibit had arrived. And they're looking in utter disbelief that Greg Maddux is in the left corner of the clubhouse. And so Mo and I went over, small talk, and slowly but surely the players started gravitating toward King Tut. And within about 20 minutes, he was the center of attention. And I always remember that year how Derek Lowe parked himself next to Greg Maddux during every game, just to glom that baseball intellect that Maddux had.
A great teacher. He was 24, 25 years old, and he was probably the youngest starter on the Cubs staff. And at the end of the pre-series meeting to go over hitters, Billy Connors, who was a pitching coach, will let Greg finish the meeting.
Rua bloops a base hit to begin the 8th.
He knew how to pitch guys. He knew at a very young age, he had a great feel for a hitter's swing, for a hitter's vision, for a hitter's thought process. At a very, very young age. Very perceptive guy. I'll tell you, hopefully I can make this story quick enough. This is last year with the Cubs. And the Yankees send a scout, Dick Tidrow, who was player personnel and a scouting director with the Giants for a long time. Tidrow scouting for the Yankees. And he pitched for the Cubs.
And the left, it drops in for a base hit in front of Heisey. And the Rangers have first and second. The way things are going, you might be able to tell Maddox's entire life story.
So it's April, and Maddux is going to be a free agent when the season's over. Wrigley Field, Maddux is going to pitch that day, takes batting practice, he goes into the clubhouse. Tidrow wisely goes and knocks on the clubhouse door because Yosh Kawano, the longtime Cubs equipment manager, knows Tidrow. Tidrow says, hey, you got any chewing gum down there? I'd like to come and visit you. Because he wants to see how Maddux prepares. So he's going to get this look at Maddux with nobody else around. And he walks through the long clubhouse and he sees Maddux, who's a balker.
Second and third.
He sees Maddux doing a crossword puzzle sitting at a table. It's Maddux and the equipment guy, Yosh Kawano, in the whole clubhouse.
Wearing eyeglasses.
They walk the length of the room. Tidrow gets his chewing gum and leaves. It's September now. It's 130 games later. Same scenario. Maddux is starting Wrigley Field. Tidrow watches him hit BP.
Carlos Peguero's the hitter.
Goes in the clubhouse. Knocks on the door. Yosh comes up. He says, Yosh, you got it? He goes, yeah, come on down, Dick. So walks down the stairs, walks past Maddux, sitting at the same chair, doing a crossword puzzle with the eyeglasses on. And Maddux looks up and he says, you again. Now, what are the chances? That's how this kid thought. That's what he would do.
And Greg is just such an unassuming physique, face, wears eyeglasses. He could be a librarian. He could be an insurance salesman. And he's one of those guys who could walk through airports all the time because that can't be Greg, man. Now, Peguero swings and misses. It's 1-2. For many years when I was at ESPN, did an awful lot of Atlanta Brave games when they were good. And so I spent a fair amount of time there at County Stadium, Turner Field. And it was the only clubhouse in my years where the leaders were pitchers. And usually it's one guy, but it was Glavine, Maddox, and Smoltz. It was like the three wise men. And they kind of sat next to one another and same place, same stuff. We'd be down there almost every week. And four of us are talking one day. Or three of them. And Peguero takes in the dirt. It's 3-2. And I asked them independent of one another, okay, you are the three wise men. Who is more equal than the other two? And without reservation, they said, Maddox. He was, but he didn't want that responsibility.
No.
Everybody knew he had it.
Yep.
But it was the three wise men. It was an unbelievable dynamic. And a line drive base hit into left field. And that makes it 9-8.
Very unassuming guy. His father was a blackjack dealer in Las Vegas. And so Don Zimmer used to bring myself out, our traveling secretary, and Jimmy Fry for a weekend in Vegas in November after the season. So we're playing at his dad's table, and Greg comes over. Now, Greg's been playing in the big leagues 3 or 4 years, and he started to make some pretty good salary. And so we're making small talk. So I said, hey, you do any traveling this winter, you and Kathy? And he goes, oh, yeah. In fact, Mike and I are just taking a big trip coming up. I says, really, where are you going? I'm thinking it's going to be Europe or something, right? He says, we're driving over to Palm Springs to play golf.
Slowly hit the short. Guerrero makes a nice play. But into scores Corporal.
We had a tie game.
Oh, good. But one of the things we have noticed, thankfully to this point in spring, is that there have been no 10-inning games. When they've been tied after 9, they've gone home.
No, we haven't tied one for a couple days.
Yeah. So that is the first out. Peguero is at second. Antoine Richardson is the batter. But the collective dropping of the jaws when they walked in to the Cincinnati visitors clubhouse the day that Maddox arrived, there was, I can't say intimidation, it was just awe.
I think he threw a no-hitter for 5 innings that night and a rain delay.
Exactly right.
Cut it down.
Exactly.
And speaking of Vero Beach, I had made the deal and flown to Vero to watch our rookies play, and I was sitting in the lounge at the complex in Vero Beach watching that game.
To second base. And Barney throws out Richardson. There's 2 out.
That part of spring training in Florida was the best, where you were all really contained on the complex, and you could sit and you could talk baseball till 2 or 3 in the morning, walk 1,000 feet, and get up in the morning and go watch your guys play.
Well, there wasn't much else to do. 2 out, and Elliott Johnson is the batter.
I guess you won't be getting a Chamber of Commerce position there.
It was a lovely play. And it was, you know. There's a strike, 0-1. Elliott Johnson. Joey Gallo is on deck. Popped a million miles in the air. And it was Kike Hernandez came over from third to make the play halfway between home and first.
He may have had the better angle on it, believe it or not.
We'll go to the ninth, tied at 9. A lovely day in Surprise, Arizona. 84 degrees at game time. The wind is blowing from left field toward right, now directly out. A lot of Dodger fans on hand, and we are tied at 9. Darwin Barney will be leading it off. Kike Hernandez on deck. And Nick Tepesh continues to pitch out of the pen and misses outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Barney Gold Glove winner in 2012 at second base.
Smart player.
Oregon State College World Series. He played mostly shortstop in college, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Inside. 3-0.
As you see a lot of times with collegiate shortstops, not everybody, but more than a few, the game is faster in the big leagues, and so the arm has got to be that much stronger. And sometimes a lot of shortstops will end up transitioning over to second base. Their hands work, their feet work, their understanding of the game in the middle of the field works. But sometimes the arm needs to move a little bit closer.
It certainly has paid off handsomely for Darwin Barney, a Gold Glove winner in 2012.
He's one of those guys that made himself into the player he is. Somebody else takes nothing for granted. Every day's serious for him. Every day's a day to try and get better at the game.
Hernandez with the bunt. Sacrifice works. Lead run at second base with 1 out. Only butted it a little harder than he wanted to, but mission accomplished. And here is Kyle Jensen. Power hitting first base and played at New Orleans last year. Tied at 9 in the top of the 9th. Two teams have combined for 18 runs, 24 hits, and 5 errors. Point of time, I think this is the longest game of the spring. Of course, by the 4th inning, it felt that way, too.
There you go.
In the hole into left field for a base hit. Here comes Barney. The ball is booted by Rua. Jensen will get to second base, and the Dodgers lead 10-9. So a hit, an error, and an RBI for Jensen. The Dodgers take the lead in the ninth.
Tepesh hands the breaking ball. Jensen stays back on it. Little overrun in left field. Puts another runner in scoring position.
You pointed out yesterday, and it's another case today. The young Dodgers are scoring runs late in games.
Yep. It seems like every spring training game we've had has had two chapters to it. The first half, which has got veteran players, and the second half, which has got a lot of good young ones.
And here's Matt Carson, local product. Pops it to the right side. And the play is made there by Rosales, and that's the second out of the inning. And Corey Seager coming up. His first plate appearance of the day. Seager 273, but he's also walked 6 times.
He's a very, very quiet hitter. You know, when you watch the setup, you watch how he loads and then the swing, it's quiet.
Don Mattingly made an interesting comparison the other day. John Olerud.
That's a pretty good comparison.
Yeah. Yep. Long, lean, yep. Left-handed, quiet.
Yep. Real good hitter.
Nearly hit 400 one year. Goodness, do something. So Seager delivers, and the Dodgers take an 11-9 lead. They didn't get all of it. He didn't have to.
Nice stroke. Good stroke. They said a quiet approach. He's got great thought process. And not just the thought process, but the ability to put it into play, especially for a young guy.
Again, it's just a number. One of the things in watching him play now over the last 2+ weeks. And Guerrero continues to hit it hard. The so-called not ready for primetime players are having a terrific spring. So Guerrero with a clean single in the left.
He is so much more comfortable this year than he was last year. Sometimes we lose track when people come from Cuba, for example, like we've had a handful of players do. There's a lot of adaptation. There's a lot of things going on. Ryu, same thing coming from Korea. There's so many different things that people have to adjust to.
When I was in New York, and I remember El Duque arriving from Cuba. He loved it. I mean, he just walked right in. And yet his half-brother, Jose Contreras, got swallowed up by it.
Yep. And El Duque was an older player, too, at that stage. But there's a lot. We expect so much so quick. And patience is one of the, it's the old saying about patience being a virtue. It's a necessity in baseball. And sometimes you have to just wait for the development to take place where there's a comfort level and a confidence that goes with it.
Izzy into short center field. And Richardson is there to make the catch and end the inning. We go to the bottom half of the ninth. Seager delivers in the clutch yet again, and the Dodgers lead 11-9. New pitcher for the Dodgers, who we will introduce you to in a moment. But first, live Dodger baseball is back in 2015 with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected with live radio broadcasts, stats, breaking news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. And the aforementioned new pitcher is Daniel Colon.
We rushed Danny to the big leagues last year. We were in desperate need of a left-handed pitcher near the end of the season. He had really taken hold in Chattanooga to the point where he was one of their key guys. Not real tall, not real big, but competes and through strikes. Tell that
most of the time. But again, we saw him, 5 or 6 games, whatever it was last year. The thing that was striking about him, he was never in awe of his circumstances.
No.
And you don't teach that. Either you have it or you don't. Missing outside.
It's like he's rushing his delivery here a little bit.
Bottom of the 9th, the Dodgers scored 2 in the top half. Corey Seager singled in a run, and now Colon has overthrown his first 3 pitches.
Yep.
Facially, he looks like a young Billy Wagner. Three balls and a strike. Billy Wagner to throw the ball 100 miles an hour, left-handed, but he's a natural right-hander.
Really?
He had broken his right elbow playing football in high school twice. So I'll try it left-handed. Lead-off walk for Gallo here in the 9th. And Adam Rosales, his first at bat of the day. Back with you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. The Cubs will be in Glendale. We'll see Brandon McCarthy and Jake Arrieta, who finally seems to have found a home with the Cubs. He's always had great stuff, but had no control in Baltimore. They just kind of ran out of patience with him.
Yep. Well, like we said a couple minutes ago, you got to have patience. Tough to do because you evaluate every day. You don't play once a week. You don't play 3 times a week. You play every day. But if you believe in somebody, you got to let the string run. You got to have enough patience to do it, to wait for it to meet. He had a great year last year.
Yeah. When the Dodgers last played in Baltimore, they faced Arrieta.
Yes.
And again, he couldn't find home plate with a computer, a GPS, and a compass.
Was that April series? Yep. A couple years ago.
And then shortly thereafter, he was sent out. And after that, he was traded. And the Cubs said, all right, we'll take a chance. And it's paid off for them.
A lot of buzz in Chicago right now on the Cubbies. Tons of buzz.
Well, it's the first time in a while that both the Cubs and the White Sox are relevant at the same time.
Yep.
To third.
Two.
There's dropped at second base by Darwin Barney, the Gold Glover.
Took his eye off it at the last second.
That doesn't happen often to Darwin Barney. In 2012, won the Gold Glove with the Cubs.
There you go. Field it cleanly. Not a great throw, but not a bad throw. Handcuffed him a little bit and took his eye off it a look.
Now Ryan Ludwig. One ball and no strikes. Wrigley Field is going to have some issues around opening day.
Oh, yeah.
Like no outfield wall. It's like high school.
You know, it's
just
where
run until it stops rolling.
It's where I grew up, in the ballpark that I fell in love with baseball in. And I haven't, you know, there's been pictures on the internet of it and what the construction, I can't bear to look.
Oh.
I can't bear to look. I remember when they tore the old Chicago Stadium down, when United Center was built. And I drove by there a few times and I said, I can't look.
Chicago Stadium may have been the loudest arena I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah.
The acoustics, whatever it was louder there than any place else. 2 balls, no strikes. Ludwig swings and gets a piece of Anthony Johnson. He was thinking to himself, I've got dinner at 6. Do I need this? He'll have some ice in his cocktail and then his ankle.
I think they've got Sunday Night Baseball at Wrigley Field with the Cardinals. I think they're going to open the baseball season at Wrigley.
Well, I don't think they'll be broadcasting from the bleachers because they won't be there. Well hit to left center field.
I'm going to stay in.
That's the first down. Ludwig flies to center. Carson tracks it down.
Well, the hitters that have stayed around all day have gotten a lot of at-bats.
Yes.
They've gotten a lot of at-bats in today.
That was Ludwig's 5th at-bat, 1 for 5. And now Ryan Rua, his 5th at-bat. He's 1 for 4 and a run scored. Dodgers lead it 11-9, 1 out in the 9th. Colomb is the 7th Dodger pitcher of the day. Ryu started, 1 earned run, 3 hits in 3 innings, and he was fine. 45 pitches, 30 for strikes. Nicasio, no runs, 2 hits in an inning. J.P. Howell really struggled today. 2/3 of an inning, 3 runs, 3 hits. Baez, an inning in the 3rd, 1 run, 1 hit. Paco Rodriguez was perfect in his inning. Ardsma gave up a couple of runs and 3 hits in the 8th inning, and Colomb is trying to put this baby to bed. on 1-2. Jensen had no chance. Tomorrow it's the Cubs. Thursday the Angels. And Friday the Dodgers split squads. We'll play Oakland in Mesa. And the other half of the Dodger club, along with half of the Rangers, will fly to San Antonio and play Friday and Saturday.
Their first chance to see Hohokam Stadium since they redid it for the A's. Cubs played there for a long time.
Hohokam, and up in Tucson, you had High Corbett.
Yeah.
Carlos Corcoran is on deck. Popped up right side.
Might be a tough one. There you go.
The Gold Glover falls off the rookie. So there's 2 out. And now Corcoran. Dodgers get him, and they'll improve their record to 9-2-4. Again, 1-loss record is essentially meaningless. Last year, the Dodgers were sub 500 and 194. Lost more than they won in 2013 and 192. And this is one of those really somewhat sloppy and lethargic game played by the Dodgers today collectively, as Corcoran picks up and in, but it's been the exception to the rule so far this spring. And if you're just joining us, Corey Seager had an RBI single in the 9th.
That was a good pitch right there.
Corcoran's legs were not particularly willing. Two and two.
Let's see if he comes back with that same pitch. Breaking ball.
"20 runs, 27 hits, and 7 errors between these two teams today." A ball away from loading the bases.
What time's the second game today start, Charlie?
About 20 minutes ago. Corcoran asked for time. Hey, get back into the batter's box. Pace of game. There we go. On 3 and 2, the runners will be running. Here comes the pitch. One of my dear friends in baseball over the years, the late Skip Carey, who would say at moments like this, "The bases are loaded. I wish I was too."
Look at all the birds on the wires, Charlie. I think they're mourning doves. I think the sun's coming up.
That or the way the game's been played, they're in mourning.
Well, looks like we're going to have somebody else finish it off here.
So Mattingly is going to come and get Cologne. Birds are on the wire. And with the bases loaded, 2 out, Dodgers make a pitching change. We'll come right back. Who's here? Ramon Troncoso on to close the door. You remember him well.
Had a real good year for us. Very durable. Pitched a lot of games. Pitched a lot of games that we needed the game stop more or less. When you're trailing by 3 or 4 runs, 5th inning, 6th inning, and you think you got a chance to get to their starter, you need somebody to come in and just stop their game right where it is.
Spent last year in the Royals AAA club. And Jorge Alfaro, with the bases loaded and 2 out in the 9th, has a chance to win it. And so too does Troncoso. With Thomas Field on deck. Golf into center field for a base hit. And the score is tied at 11.
Bet you we've seen a half dozen hits today that hit right in front of the plate and bounded over the infield.
And now Thomas Field. So we're up to 22 runs and 28 hits. And the winning run at second base. Ramon Troncoso. One ball, one strike. This is Field's second at bat. He bounced to short in the 8th inning. The way this game has gone on. Way back in the 8th inning. 1-2. It looks like we are a strike away from the 5th tie of the spring. To short. And that is going to do it. So they don't play 10-inning, extra-inning spring training games anymore, and there's not a dissenting vote anywhere.
Yep.
So, your assessment of what we saw tonight?
Well, it was probably the trying to think of the right way of putting this. It was not a clean game. We saw some good things. Of course, Seager again, key hit. Saw some good pitching. Saw some things in isolation that were positives. And hey, you'd rather tie than get beat, no matter what the time of year is.
Ryu did all right.
Yep.
And as you mentioned, Seager did very well too. So that's a wrap for us. Dodgers 11 runs, 15 hits, 4 errors. The Rangers 11 runs, 13 hits, and 3. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock when the Dodgers host the Cubs from Glendale. For Ned Coletti and our entire crew here is Surprise Charlie Stein saying good night tomorrow, and good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.